Alright, so there's one more thing that I've been wanting to do in here, and if you watched my first video about this studio, you'll have seen me talk about putting up an overhead camera right here between these rafters, and that would require some of those wall mount baby pins from Impact that I loved so much, and I bought a bunch of them, but I ended up using them in other spots around the studio, so I don't have any more left. But I did have an idea that might work a little bit better than that, that's a little bit less permanent, using some 9-dot solutions parts only. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and set that up today. We'll see if it works. If it doesn't, I'm not gonna use this part of the video. Okay, so the problem was I wanted to run rods across the top and the bottom of this thing here, across here, but the height difference between where I can mount these clamps on these poles doesn't quite match up, so it's not gonna go straight across. So instead of doing that, I'm actually gonna do it with a simpler setup, and instead of these little pins going into the corners and then mounting gags on them, and then needing all those gags and pins and everything, I'm just going to use a couple rods, 3 rods actually, not a couple, and screw those straight into each of these corners and have them going off at angles, and hopefully I can find a place to mount these clamps that will match up with those angles as the rods come off. Boom, there we go. We got a plate up, a head up on this plate. All right, so what I'm mounting on here right now is the Z-Cam E2 F6. This is a full frame 6K camera. Just checking that the safety pin on this head works good enough just to make sure I can really feel a little bit safer about it. Tightening that down. This also has a 140 watt-hour V-mount battery mounted on here, an 85mm lens. I'm not going to bother putting a monitor or anything on here. What I am going to do in this setup is put a wireless transmitter here so that way I can view it on a larger monitor downstairs. This is fairly solid, and I'd use it like this because, again, you're not going to be touching it really. The point is to have a straight overhead camera, and that's what I got.